Episode number 8.
You can spend as much time as you want planning and everything, but until you go out there and let them decide and vote for things and give you feedback, you really don't know.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about solutions, tips, and tricks for social marketers and businesses.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show. This is Travis Too Tall and Huff, and you guys better be ready because this is Good Friday, and I have my man, the featured guest, Tom Schwab. Tom, are you ready to be real?
I am excited.
Tom is the founder of Goodbye Crutches, as well as the Inbound for eCommerce and Inbound movement. And we are really excited, Tom, to hear more about your strategies to inbound. But Tom, we've given our listeners just a little bit about you, but tell us a little bit more, my man.
Sure. I am in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and yeah, it actually exists. And proving that you can do a business from just about any place in the world thanks to the internet.
Nice.
And as Michigan was starting to lead the world or the nation into the Great Recession here, our business, we needed to grow it from a regional player to a national leader. And so we knew the tools of the internet could do that. And as Winston Churchill said, Americans will do the right thing after they've done the wrong thing. And that's how we did it. And we went and chased a lot of different tactics and different strategies. And then we really figured out how to use content and an inbound strategy. And that really took us from being a regional player here in Michigan to being a national leader and even having contacts overseas now. So
wow.
We've done all that from beautiful Kalamazoo, Michigan. So it's been fun and excited to talk with you. And we actually met through social media.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The power of social media is that if you connect to someone that inspires you with a real message, not spam, not a, email blast, but a real message, asking someone, hey, would you like to do an interview? Would you like to chat? We talked about it a couple of days ago. It's like, that's going to be your best email that you ever send. When you want to do your next email marketing, think about your email list and look at each one of those people and think about, if I sent an individual email to each one of these people that was personal, that was, maybe even asking for a favor, or can I do anything for you? Or, hey, how's your day going? But it was personal to them. That's going to be what converts. And that's, at the end of the day, on top of content, once you have this traffic, it's going to be about how you connect to them, right?
Oh, very much so. And all the tools that we have today, they're not designed to replace us. They're designed to empower us, to connect better, to connect people, not replace them.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, there's a tool to automation and there's a tool to having this connected world, but there's a value to still being human and still really taking that, and maybe I'm old school because I'm 33 and I'm kind of in between generation where we didn't always have technology, but, getting a personal thank you card, things like that go a long way, that it just blows people's mind when you get a thank you card now.
Very much so. I mean, that's one of the things we've used in our business as a follow-up on nurturing after somebody has bought a product from us. For Goodbye Crutches, we deal with a lot of people that are recovering from an injury or surgery, and we send them a get well card. And,
that's awesome.
It's handwritten, and people are just blown away by that. They'll start, taking pictures of it and putting it on Facebook and tweeting it, and it's like just treating a person like a person, and it's easy enough.
It's easy enough, and it's too many businesses they don't either spend the time or resources, or they don't realize how important that is when you get something personal from the company you just bought for, something from, and it's just for no reason. It's just a thank you, or hey, get well, or hope you're doing well today, or happy birthday, or just this lovely little thank you. It connects the dots to that whole Zappos kind of feel of really a culture of the company that you wanted to keep doing business with. And the next time your friend's hurt, you're going to tell them about, hey, did you know Goodbye Crutches? They're just going to keep on passing on the word because it's just you feel and believe in the company.
I think that's probably the biggest tragedy right now in the internet internet is that we all, as website owners, what do? We track unique visitors. We always look at that. We count the number of unique visitors, and then we treat them all the same.
Right.
And there's a great disconnect there. When we can start to figure out the personalization with that person and what they want and segment them and making sure we're giving them the content with context, that's when the magic happens.
Yep. And I think that we're just scratching the surface. I mean, there's a lot of tools to try to do it right, but then there's also too many disaster stories where, it basically thought it was sending it out to this list and it sent it out to the wrong person, or, based on this keyword, it put this out, and basically horror stories happen and PR nightmares happen when you just set it to automation and you're not being there to basically help automate it. But so now we're going to start with a Be Real story. We're going to start with the time that you feel that you've maybe failed at social marketing or inbound. Just tell us a time that, maybe you didn't meet the bar.
For me, it's got to be the social media thing. And you hit on it on being real. Automation is great. And I was able to have 3 Twitter accounts open at one time and, just posting, and all of a sudden I posted the wrong thing to the wrong account. So, I had my business account open, I had my personal account open, and the problem was this was years and years ago, but I had a different tone for one as opposed to another. I wasn't being real on all of them. And I looked at that and said, I should never have that problem, whereas if I post one of my business things to personal accidentally, or vice versa, the content will be wrong. Maybe the context will be wrong, but the tone should be the same. I'm the same person, whether or not you approach me, personally, if you approach me through, my e-commerce company, Goodbye Crutches, or the consulting company with Inbound for e-commerce. While we segment for the content that each audience wants, the person behind it and the tone is the same. So to me, that was a giant failure. I tell you what, I got gray hairs as soon as I hit, tweet on that one. But I'm thinking, I should never have that problem. You're talking with Tom, and while the labels might be different, while the name after the @ might be different, it's the same person. So that caused me to really look at myself in the mirror and say, you have to be real with this.
And absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, the best thing about a little failure is that you can learn from it. Every success happens after many failures. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Come on, where's Michael Jordan now? You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things that with being real, or as far as just being personal, you have to take the time to really think about it and think, hey, you know what? This, like you said, hey, this is me. No matter what brand I'm on, this is going to be how I talk. And you know what? I'm not going to have to change it to, fit who I think I need to be, but just be you.
Exactly. I'm good at that.
Awesome.
I'm good at that.
It's easier. It's a lot easier, and it takes a lot less time. So now take us to a real moment that you believe maybe changed your mind about what the power of social or the power of inbound. Tell us that moment where you're just like, wow.
Yeah, really from the social side, because I know that's what you guys want to focus on. It would have to be the power of listening. And from an e-commerce side, the power of listening for people's needs and their pains. So many times we use social media to amplify our message as opposed to listening to our customers. And, all our content, we repurpose that, we tweet it out, we amplify it, we put it on Facebook. But one of the things that we started to do that was just so powerful is we started to listen for keywords that our customers were using as pain points. For like the e-commerce company we've got, Goodbye Crutches, it's basically if somebody mentions crutches or hating crutches in a tweet, they're just yelling out to the world, somebody help me. And we've got our customer service people now that will, go on to TweetDeck and have the stream coming down just listening for hate crutches. And,
Gotcha.
As small of a niche as we're on, I bet you there's probably one every half hour that has those words in it. And with that, we can respond to them and just say, sorry to hear, wishing you a happy recovery. Here's a couple articles that might help. We're not trying to sell them anything. We're just trying to help them. And I think that's the thing. Nobody wants to be sold. I can't think of anybody that enjoys being sold to, but everybody likes to buy. We had a customer once that told us that every product and service was preparation H. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he's like, nobody really wants your product or service because chances are it's to solve a problem, and nobody wants a problem. But he said, if you can focus on how you can go ahead and solve the problem, then you're not selling, you're helping them buy. And so that's one of the things with social media that we just looked at and said, if all these people are talking, let's listen and just figure out who we can help. And just to listen to a Twitter stream while the customer service is doing other things, it's amazing the number of customers that you can just find and help right from there.
Listening for pains. I think that is one of the wisest statements that I've heard yet, to be honest with you, Tom. I mean, to be honest, that is a wise strategy. Taking the keywords that you feel that people are going to be talking about, that are their pain points, and helping them. Don't try to sell them. Don't blast them your e-commerce to sell them, hey, I got this new crutch for you. Or, hey, don't, take advantage of my new product here. Come click here and buy. It's about helping that person or just making them feel good or making them feel heard. I like to say a lot of times people just want to feel heard. They want to feel like someone's listening. And if your brand just listens and is not there to sell, it's going to be life-changing for your brand.
Yeah, the more you sell, the less you will. The more you help people, the more you'll sell.
Yeah. And it's the strategy for the future. Anyone that's listening that's in social media and wants to get more sales, think about this. Where is your customer's pain point? Track them on a nice little tweet deck or Hootsuite using the keywords, and track those hashtags, track what people are saying, and ultimately allow yourself to then now every week or every day go in and to conversate with these folks and ask them, hey, how are you doing? Hope you're feeling better. All sorts of opportunity for you to really build some awesome brand equity with them and not very much cost, and to your targeted true customer.
Exactly. It's the power. We live in the greatest time ever with the tools that we have to serve people.
It's awesome. And that honestly gave me a little gut check myself to have to do maybe a couple little keyword streams for real time and have us kind of think about doing that. Cause I know we've done it, but we haven't been diligent to do it. And I think there's something where just us helping people solve their pain points in social media and management might also, help drive a little more business into us.
Excellent.
So we're going to go into and enter your mind. We're going to go with some B-realisms. These are going to be some short, question and answers, and we're really going to give us some insight into my man, Tom Schwab. So tell us, in a perfect world, what's your dream job?
I would have to say that right now I'm living my dream job. I love coaching and consulting and helping other business owners really use a strategy to figure out how to attract customers, to engage leads, to convert leads into customers, and then finally to delight customers. And I'm amazed. It's just so much fun to work with them. I would have to say what makes it a dream job or makes it a horrible job, if I work with somebody that will take action, it's a dream job. Not even if they listen to me the entire time, but take some action with it. What frustrates me is the people that don't take action. If you're coaching somebody in basketball and they're working on it and they're trying, that's a dream job. If you're coaching somebody and all they want to do is sit on the bench and hear your pep talk, that's frustrating. So my dream job is what I'm doing right now, and we're very specific in, our ideal buyer persona that we work with. And, we work with the best and we make them even better.
Take action. I love it. Take action. It's just one of those simple things that how many people think and sitting on the sidelines and have a dream job, want to be like Tom, and they're just not willing to take that action, take that baby step. Not every time everything you do is going to be a success, and you have to be willing to be able to move past one little failure and get to the next one, and then get to the next one. And then once you've reached success, humble yourself again and say, what's next from there? So tell me, how do you typically like to start your day?
Yeah, I like to be more proactive than reactive. My biggest complaint is there's not enough hours in the day to get stuff done. And I function best when I get up early. So I'm an early riser, usually, up by 5. And it allows me to get my mind right, get my priorities on what I want to do in the day, and then go on from there. Because, as soon as the rest of the world wakes up, there's going to be interruptions, there's going to be changes, there's going to be fires you have to put out. But I like to start with a plan and feeling like I'm somewhat in control as opposed to waking up and being always reactionary to somebody else. So as Stephen Covey said, start with the end in mind. And that's how I start my day. I always don't end up at the same place I figured that I would, but at least I'm starting in the right direction.
Be proactive. I mean, it's one of those things that if you don't start your day with what you have to get done, and you're just worried about what your clients or what other people want you to get done, you're not going to get much done that day. And even if it's just one thing, one blog, one extra task that you had to get done for yourself that you can do in the morning, I find it just the best, most rewarding feeling to feel like, hey, by 8 o'clock in the morning, I've already got my most important thing done today.
That's what they say in boot camp. They tell them that, even if you make your bed first thing in the morning and you make it perfectly, if the rest of the day goes terrible, at least when you go to bed that night, you'll be reminded you did one great thing that day.
That's awesome. That's a really cool, that makes a lot of sense now. That's my dad makes his bed every day. And it drives me crazy because I just don't see the end purpose. But like you just said, I think that's part of why he does it. Maybe in a way, it's just a reminder of, hey, that starting your day, getting things set up, getting it ready, doing it good, and then getting it going. So tell us, this is always a tough one. Do you feel like there's a weakness you have that you struggle with?
I would say yes, and it would be also at times my greatest strength too. I'm more of a person that goes ready, fire, aim. I'm a person of action, and I think that a lot of times that that you only learn from doing. Your customers are your experts in your business, and you can spend as much time as you want planning and everything. But until you go out there and let them decide and vote for things and give you feedback, you really don't know. So from that standpoint, my greatest weakness is sometimes launching or executing too quickly. But I think also that's my greatest strength.
Yep. There's no doubt. There's no way that there's a right time, because obviously the perfectionism theory where people are perfecting something for years and then they never release it is one of those strategies that doesn't work either, obviously. But I'm like you in that, sometimes you get this good idea and you just want to ready, aim, fire. Let's get it going. And sometimes you have to really spend that quality time to maybe take a month and sit on it, and maybe then, ultimately try to really make sure that it's ready for the market. Because obviously that holds us back sometimes from having success on everything we do if we just obviously do what we do. But in my opinion, like you, it's the biggest thing is we're doing it. We're making it happen. And you know what? Anyone on the sidelines doesn't have two businesses like you do.
Well, I've been part of a mastermind group with other business owners for about the last year. And that has been so powerful because they're a group of trusted friends that I can give ideas to. And, I think your true friends will tell you when something is stupid. The rest of the world just grabs their cell phone cameras to capture the moment. And having people that you can go to like that and bounce an idea off of. And while, at least you can gain other insight from it. And I think that's really important as a business leader or business owner.
It's something that I honestly want to get myself involved with as I'm listening and hearing more and more about a mastermind group. And I feel like I have a small mastermind group. Me and my father go on weekly, nightly walks, and he gives me his wise wisdom, and he's helped me in a lot of ways build my business. But I think it's just something to having that close group of connections that really are willing to be honest with you and not afraid to tell you if it's, not a pretty baby kind of deal. And, it's just, you need that close network of friends that are going to be honest with you, because otherwise you'll go out there and start something and the general public will say it's good. But at the end of the day, if you didn't have that trusted advice, you could be way further along with your idea.
Exactly.
So tell us, is there a piece of best advice you've ever received?
There is. And I always point to this one. It came from my college roommate. and he is now the Commodore in charge of the Atlantic Test Fleet. So all the drones are under his command, and naval the test pilot school. And he always said in college, "Don't die not knowing." And Brett Pearson has lived his entire life that way. And I think it's such a great information and a great idea, is that you don't want to spend the end of your life going, "I wonder if I could have done this. I wonder if I could have done that." Go ahead and give it a try. And you may fail, but at least you won't die not knowing.
I love that. Don't die not knowing. I mean, seriously, that just gut checks me, because this year I told myself from the very start of this year that I'm going to be living my life, and the things that I want to do, I'm going to do. If it means sit in front row at a concert and spend a little extra more money than I would because I would want to be sitting in the back to save money, it doesn't matter. These things and moments in life, they come and they go. And if you don't take advantage of them, you're going to be saying, "Oh, I wish I had done that 60 years later." And like you mentioned about just starting a business and things like that, it's the same thing with a business, or it's the same thing with the social media campaign, or coming up with a new idea for a crowdfunding idea or something like that. It's just like, if you don't actually make it happen, and you're always going to be sitting there wishing you did. So tell us now, this is going to be the hot seat. This is going to be where you share some phenomenal resources, some of your most favorite websites, and maybe some real talk answers with us.
Awesome.
So tell us, be real with me. If you could sit down today and have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be?
Yeah, that one's easy. I lost my dad about 12 years ago. So whenever anybody asks me that question, by far, I'd sit down and have dinner with my dad. Well,
I love it.
My second person on that would be Derek Sivers. And I've talked with him, chatted, email, back and forth. He wrote a book that to me was just amazing. It's called Anything You Want. And he ran a company called CD Baby. And he was basically the precursor to iTunes. And,
I still have CD Baby.
Oh, yeah. And so he's just such an interesting guy, inspirational and insightful. And I love following his blog. He doesn't blog all the time, but when it comes out, boy, it's something big. And
what is his blog, if you don't mind?
I think it's just DerekSivers.com.
Oh, okay.
And he moved to Singapore. So our paths haven't crossed, but he's on my bucket list. Someday I'm going to meet him and have breakfast with him, lunch or dinner.
Derek Sivers, if you're listening, breakfast and lunch or dinner with my man, he's ready. So tell me, do you have a favorite internet tool or app that you like using on a daily basis?
Probably the one that is most powerful to me is any kind of scheduling tool. I just switched over to ScheduleOnce. And for me, it's so powerful because I want to connect with people, but it's not always convenient to call them on their phone, or for them to call you, or you and I try to get together. And the next thing you know, is like, "Oh, I thought we were talking Pacific time. No, East Coast time." So there's so many great tools out there where you can go ahead and send somebody a link to your calendar and say, "Hey, just grab a time on my calendar," and then you're prepared for them. You can make the best use of it. And once again, you can be proactive as opposed to reactive.
And that works with your Google Calendar as well, right?
Oh, it does. I think that's how we connected here. And I basically just said, "Hey, here's a link to my calendar. Here's the times I'm awake, and grab 30 minutes that works for you." And that way it keeps emails going back and forth, and it really makes it productive use of everybody's time.
Yeah, ScheduleOnce. Check it out, everyone. I think it's a really cool tool, and I think it's going to be something I'm going to have to employ too as well, because if people want to meet with you, why not let them figure out a time that works best for their schedule when they want to meet, instead of having to say, "Oh, I'm meeting do I have a time at Thursday at 2, or I have time on Wednesday at 9?" It's like, let them see your availability and let them schedule. So tell us, if you had to suggest like one book, audio or physical book, to our listeners, what would it be?
The one that changed my life probably about 10 years ago when it first came out, and a new updated version of it came out, is a book called Inbound Marketing. It was written by two really smart guys from MIT, Brian Halligan and Dharmesh Shah. And basically what they talked about is that the rules have changed, that no longer can you win just by throwing money at things, buying more ads on television or interrupting people with spam emails or robocalls or billboards. That if anything, that's starting to hurt brands, that the ones that are going to win in the future are the ones that can help people, that can help them. When everybody goes to Google, they're looking for solutions to their problems. And those people that are found by helping them with content and answers and inspiration, those are the people that are going to win, because they're going to build trust, they're going to build authority, they're going to build thought leadership. And when people go to buy, they already, you buy from people you know, love, and trust. And that's going to be those people that helped them. So for me, it was a big paradigm shift on what the future is, and really we use that to change our company.
Wow. It's so true. I mean, we're all in this day and age where we have all these access to different networks and sites, but how are you building your actual inbound traffic? How are you actually building your, if you want to call it, celebrity, or how do you build your following to care about you? And I truly believe it's like you said, it's helping them with their problems and giving them solutions and not trying to sell. So tell us, if you were to master any new skill, what would it be?
Oh, and this one, I would have to say patience.
Nice.
Patience is a virtue, but it's not one I have. I mean, I pray every day, Lord, give me patience and give it to me now. Today I'm more excited about life and the future and everything that's going on than I ever have been. And from that, I know that all of us have a limited time on this earth, and we're all given a limited amount of time. So I want to make sure that I have the biggest impact on people that are important to me and on others that I can. So with that, I'm not very patient person. Let's get it done. Let's test it. Let's get feedback from people. And so it's I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a skill or what, but I keep praying for it. I haven't gotten it.
It is definitely something that is difficult to master for people like us that like to get it done, and we're ready, aim, and fire, and we're ready to make things happen. Having patience is difficult. The only thing that I think has helped me, honestly, has been meditation. And then also I recently started doing the 5-minute journal that I was, Dee Dumas was able to, share in his podcast, and I started doing it, and I really started feeling just a better sense of a little bit like patience, a little bit more where you're instead of thinking your own thoughts, you're kind of listening to your clients more, you know what I mean? And it actually ended up where I feel like I'm having better conversations with my clients, and I'm starting to feel like I'm really taking the time to, really listen to them fully. And then, obviously provide your feedback and stuff like that. But my first reaction is to give my feedback, but it's one of those things that I think that every entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, I think has a little impatience in them.
I'd agree with you on that one.
So tell us, if you were to develop any new business, and I know you already have two, so I know it's difficult to think of a third, but if you were to develop any new third business, what would it be and why?
Wow. This one was great. And it's like, what does the world need? Because they don't need a copy of anything else. And then what does the world figured out that they really like? And I think there's a disconnect right now, because we've got great social media sites that connect people. We've got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook, all the rest of those, so you can connect. But I think there's a lot of BS and people not being real in there. And if you look at it, Angie's List sort of did that for contractors, right? So
yep.
To add some a gut check to it, to make sure that people aren't lying. There's one program that I love. It's called Grammarly. It checks spelling, but I actually found out about it from a friend of mine that was in college, because they have to run it on all of their papers that they send in. So
I've heard about that.
Because it checks for plagiarism. And you've got to prove that you didn't plagiarize your work. And I'm like, that's genius, right?
Genius.
It's so easy to go and crawl the web in seconds to figure out if this is your work or not. And I think that would be a great service if they could connect somehow. So when somebody says they've got a PhD from Harvard, it's easy enough to check and to flag it and say, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
If somebody claims that, I'm an expert in this, you can just go ahead. And Clout does that a little bit. But, there's so much data out there. And I think that if we could connect that, it would really build trust in the internet. It would build connection. Ultimately, we could all collaborate a whole lot easier.
That is a big idea, Tom. And anyone out there listening that would like to collaborate with Tom on that idea, I think you guys should definitely connect, because I think that's something that could be very helpful for social marketers as well, to really have that authenticity and be able to trust the other social marketers out there, if you want to call it, because in our industry, I've heard some horror stories, and people claim they're experts and people claim that they are legit companies, and they are not, and they deliver nothing, and they're just there to take people's money. And the money is not going to get you anywhere in this world if you're not authentic and you don't build a track record, because no one's going to want to do business with you again.
Yeah, I always say that the biggest competitor that we have right now, be it in social media, in inbound marketing, it's not each other. It's the ones that are bad companies, the one that give it a bad name.
Totally.
Gary Vee always puts that out that marketers can mess up anything, and social media inbound is a wonderful thing, but there's always that small portion out there that are going to mess it up and make everybody else look bad. So I think as a community, we've got to call those people out and hold ourselves to a very, very high standard.
Absolutely. Social authenticity, it should just be something that's authenticated, like a Twitter account is verified. If you're a celebrity, maybe the same thing eventually for anyone that puts themselves as an accountant or anything that they're specialized at, that there's a way that we can authenticate it and really know that these people are actually valid. And there's people that have authenticated that they do this in, almost like a Yelp or style review system, if you want to call it, to make sure that these people are real. So tell us, if you can give us one last parting real talk thought, and also how can our listeners get a hold of you?
Yeah, I guess my last thought on this is that I think that our grandparents are better suited for the future than we are. We've grown up over this last 20 years thinking about, what trick can I use? What tactic can I use? What tool can I use? And we've really forgot about that people buy from people they know, love, and trust. And that's never changed. People buy from people. And we really need to get back on how can we figure out a strategy, to build trust, to build authority, to build thought leadership. How can we be helpful? And it's that strategy that is different to us now. And if we go back and look at the way our grandparents built businesses, the future is going to be that same way. It's just going to be done with the technology. So that's what I'm really excited about, is helping people figure out what that inbound strategy is for them. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, I'll share the link with my calendar, just like we did here, and we can connect over whatever area you want to, but grab 10 or 15 minutes and talk also. I'm on Twitter at TM Schwab. I wasn't quick enough to get Tom Schwab, and probably the easiest place to get a hold of me is on LinkedIn. I'm the only Tom Schwab in Kalamazoo.
Nice.
And then my website is Inbound for eCommerce. It's all spelled out, and that's where I do a lot of my blogging and just general rants.
Well, you've been listening to my man, Tom Schwab and Travis Too Tall and Huff. I want to thank you guys for your time, and keep being real. This podcast is proudly sponsored by realtimeoutsource.com, your social